What's up, you guys? It's Matthew here. Welcome back to another video on my channel today. And in today's video, guys, we are going to be doing a tier list here of every Final Destination death. As a matter of fact, there we go. That should do it. Okay. So yes, we're going to be ranking every single Final Destination death in the entire franchise. So we got the first movie all the way down to Final Destination Bloodlines, and this is the exact same tier list that Cody Leach actually made and did a video on a month ago. So shout out to Cody Leach for making this a public tier list and making this video possible, as a matter of fact. But so yeah, guys, I thought this might be fun to do. I kind of thought about it for a while, and I finally decided, yeah, let's do it. I think this would be a fun video to do, as a matter of fact. But so yeah, guys, be sure you like this video, hit that red subscribe button, but most importantly, make sure you press that notification bell so you don't miss anything in the future. And those of you guys that are new to the channel, I do more than just movies and TV related stuff. I also do Lego related stuff. I do haul and unboxing videos, and I play video games. I do all sorts of stuff like that here on the channel. So if you guys like to watch anything like that on YouTube and want to show your love and support, be sure to go check out my channel right after this video, guys. Without any further ado, guys, enjoy the video. Let's get started. Okay, so yes, I have the same tiers as he does, which we have a Fate Worse Than Death, which are deaths that are not really that memorable, and they just don't scare. They're just not that scary at all. And then we have Don't Fear the Reaper, which are deaths that that have a little bit of creativity, but they're still not memorable or like good or anything. And then we have another one, Bites the Dust, which are ones that are enjoyable enough, but they're not quite up there. And then we had Fade to Black, ones that get a little better. Then we have Death's Magnum Opus, which is which are reserved for the best scenes in the entire Final Destination franchise, as a matter of fact. But yeah, so I'm going to try to go through these in chronological order as best I can, as a matter of fact. Like we have all the deaths put in the first movie, but all these are not in chronological order, as a matter of fact. But so yeah, we are going to start off this tier list with Todd. This is Todd's final shower. So this is the death that kicks off the entire franchise after the main premonition. And since Todd was the first to die in the premonition, he was the very first person to die after a premonition in the first Final Destination, as a matter of fact. So yes, this is pretty memorable just because it's the very first death that actually kicks off the entire franchise, as a matter of fact. So yeah, I'm gonna put this one in Fade to Black because it is pretty memorable, just because it's the first death to kick off the entire franchise, as a matter of fact. But next one on our list, we have Terry gets hit by a bus. I think was, yeah, Terry would have been next. And so yes, so after Todd, Terry dies next, and she gets hit by a bus because a lot of people don't believe Alex with the death scenario, and this is when they're all like arguing, and then she steps out into the street and then magically gets hit by a bus as well. So yeah, this one, I'm gonna stick it in Another One Bites the Dust because it's another one that's memorable, but it's not like that. It's not that interesting of a kill to me, though. Next up on our list, we have Miss Luton, as a matter of fact. So now, Miss Luton, on the other hand, she has like she has one of the most drawn out death scenes in the entire franchise. And with her, so what happens was her monitor explodes and then glass goes into her throat and then she starts bleeding all over the place, but then she slips on like her own blood and whatnot. But then she tries to grab a towel, but then a knife ends up impaling her, and then Alex comes in to help her, but then a chair pushes the knife down even further. Then it and it kills her, as a matter of fact. So yeah, this is a death that I'm not like a big fan of because I really liked Miss Luton as a character, and I didn't really, and yeah, I guess it would be memorable just because of how long and drawn out it is, but it's still it's still not like a very interesting kill. So because it's memorable for being dragged out, I'm going to put this one in Don't Fear the Reaper. Next up on our list, we have Billy loses his head. So now with this movie, this is when they're stuck on like the train tracks, and Billy's trapped in his car because he's next. And then they get Billy out of his car, so his life gets saved. But then he gets skipped because Billy is next on the list, and because he's next on the list, there's a piece of metal that falls in between the train tracks, and then the train goes, and then the train flings the piece of metal, and it decapitates half of his head, as a matter of fact. So yeah, this is a pretty memorable death, and Billy is played by Sean William Scott, and this is a pretty memorable death, and it's one of the better kills in the entire franchise. So with this movie, I don't know where I want to put this. Should I put this in Death's magnum opus? Yeah, I think I'm going to put it at the top of Death's magnum opus, as a matter of fact. So next up here we have Carter sees a sign. So this is the final kill that happens in the entire franchise after and this is when Claire, Alex, and Carter are the three surviving characters of the first one, and they're all in Paris paying tribute to all of their classmates and teachers that couldn't be there with them. But then Death starts to make another move, and then a sign falls down and it tries to hit Alex, but then he gets pushed out of the way. So it skipped him, and then it went to Carter because he was after Alex, and he gets hit by the sign, and then he dies, as a matter of fact. So yes, this is pretty memorable because this is the very first kill to happen at the end of a Final Destination movie, as a matter of fact. So yeah, this one is going to go in Another One Bites the Dust. All right, next up on our list we have Alex Browning. So now I know this gets revealed later in the Final Destination movie, but technically Alex Browning dies off screen. His death took place between the first and the second movie, and he gets hit by a brick off screen. And yeah, I do not care for that scene at all. So it's gonna go in a fate worse than death because it just happened on screen, and And when you take out a legacy character off screen, it doesn't. I'm all like, no, why would you do that? And and yeah, it just in my opinion, you should never kill a legacy character off screen. Like Billy and not Billy, excuse me, Dewey in Scream 5, he was a legacy character and they didn't kill him off screen. I don't know why they killed him off screen, but yeah, it was dumb that they did that, and he should have at least made an appearance with Claire in the second Final Destination movie. And yes, I did not think that that was necessary at all. But next up on our list, we got heads up. I think is the name of this. This is the first kill to kick off the movie. This is I gotta think of his name real fast. Evan Lewis, and he's in his apartment making himself like lunch or dinner or something like that. But then here's what happens next. His apartment starts to burn down, and he escapes, but his spaghetti hits down in the alleyway, and he escapes down the ladder. But then he accidentally slips on his spaghetti. But then the ladder impales him through the through his eye, as a matter of fact, which is a cool kill, and it definitely is another really good kill to kick off the entire franchise, as a matter of fact. So yeah, this is a good movie overall. This is a good scene overall. I'm gonna put this one in fade to black. All right, so after he dies, I think the next person to get that's on Death's list next is old Timmy, as a matter of fact. So in case you guys don't know, this character was actually written to be like a little boy, but he's a teenager, and then they just left and they just left like all the like cute mommy stuff in there that they would do to like a 10-year-old, as a matter of fact. So yes, this is another really cool drawn out scene, and this is when he's in the dentist office, and this is when he's in the dentist office, and the oxygen tank starts to go turns off, and then like one of the rubber fishes falls into his mouth, and you think he's gonna suffocate and die in the dentist chair, but then he doesn't. He ends up leaving the dentist office and not dying, but then some people try to warn him, and then makes the flisions. He makes the pigeons fly off, and then this piece of glass comes flaring down, and it smashes him. And so yes, this is another really memorable kill in the franchise. And I am actually gonna stick this one into Death's magnum opus, because I think whoops, did not want that, go away. So yes, because it's another memorable kill in Final Destination, and it's another memorable kill in the entire franchise. So after Timmy, his mom in the elevator would come next. So now I don't remember the lady's name right offhand, but this is Timmy's mother, and she's next on Death's list. But then she tries to escape from the group because Kimberly and the main guy, I don't remember his name either, but they pull everybody in that was on the highway, and they're explaining about death and stuff like that. but then she feels traumatized, so she leaves, and Carl goes with her, but then her hair gets hooked on something, and then she gets trapped in the and then her head gets trapped in the elevator with her body hanging outside of the elevator. But then as the elevator goes up, she ends up getting decapitated, as a matter of fact. Like, I didn't think she really deserved that. She should have not been on death's list at all, because she didn't deserve to go through all that and then have her head be decapitated. So yeah, in my opinion, yeah, this is a death that should have never happened, and I'm gonna stick this one. Um, yeah, I'm gonna put it at the back of fate worse than death, as a matter of fact. But yeah, this yeah, I do not care for this kill at all. So next up, we have Katie Pie's Down. So in this one, this is after their van crashes, and this is at the end of the second act of the movie. But then, so their van crashes, it gets stuck in the and it gets stuck in a ditch. But then she's trapped inside of the van, and as people are trying to help her, as the firemen are trying to help her, they get like these jaw thingy majigs, but then she tells them to put it on quiet mode. But then they end up helping her, but then the the airbags go off, and then there's this pipe that's stuck in the back of the car, and then the airbags push her against the seat, and then the pipe impales right through her head, and then the van blows up, as a matter of fact. So yeah, this is another really good kill. It's another memorable one as well. So I'm gonna stick this one at the top to Fade to Black. It's not quite Death's magnum opus for me, but it's still memorable though. And carrying into that, we have I don't remember this guy's name, but this is the one that gets split into three by the barbed wire. I don't remember this. I don't remember this guy's name, but because the van blows up, it flings barbed wire at him, but then the barbed wire goes through him and it cuts him into three pieces. And the effects on this kill look really good, and it's a very well shot scene movie. It's a very well shot scene as well. Same thing with the last kill that we just mentioned, as a matter of fact. So yes, this is another one I am gonna stick up in Death's magnum opus as well. The second to last kill in Final Destination. And I made a mistake. The black guy that I mentioned earlier, that I mentioned just now, with the mom and the elevator, his name is Eugene. It's not Carl. I thought it was Carl for some reason, but his name is Eugene. So I apologize for the error though. So yes, the guy that was stuck in the elevator with the mom. This is Eugene and Claire's death. So this is when Claire, not Claire, this is when Eugene needed some help, and he gets taken into the ER as well. But then his oxygen tank starts to move, and then Claire tries to help him, but then the medical room ends up exploding. So it takes out Carl, and Claire dies in this movie. And yeah, it wasn't very cool to see Claire go in such a way like that. So yeah, this is another one that I'm just all like, why are people taking out these legacy characters? They should have just, yeah. So I guess it's memorable because it's in an explosion and it takes out a legacy character, but this one's gonna go in Don't Fear the Reaper because I don't think it's really that creative at all. And there's nothing like, oh yeah, that was a really good memorable kill. Next up on our list we have Brian's Barbecue. And to be honest, I'm gonna stick this one in Feet Worse Than Death. Like, I never understood why this guy died. And he gets blown up and then his arm lands on his mom's plate, as a matter of fact. But then I'm all like, why did he die? There why the heck did he die? He doesn't he wasn't on death's list. So why did you kill him? Why did you kill him? Like, he wasn't on death's list at all, and then boom, he gets blown up. I don't understand what really happened or why he died, as a matter of fact. So yeah, that it's just the death that I don't get at all, and it's a scene that probably should have never occurred, in my opinion. So now we are moving on to Final Destination 3. And the start of when death comes back for the people that survived the roller coaster trap, it would have been Ashley and Ashlyn, I think are their names. And they are the two that sat next to each other on the roller coaster, and they were first to die in the premonition. So that is why they are the first two characters to go. And with them personally, I to be honest, guys, I am not a fan of Final Destiny. I like Final Destination 3, but I'm not like a huge fan of it though. And to be honest, that is like my least favorite Final Destination movie. I know it's the fan favorite of the franchise. Well, that's what it seems to be, but for me, I am just not a fan of the upsetting tone that this movie is given. And this scene right here is part of the upsetting tone that it gives. So yes, I'm gonna stick this one in a fate worse than death. I mean, it's memorable, but it's not scary. To me, it's upsetting, and that's why I don't like Final Destination 3, because it has more of an upsetting tone than all of the other Final Destination movies. So after Ashley and Ashlyn, I think it would have been I think it would have been Frankie. So this is when Wendy and the main guy, I don't remember the main guy's name in any of these movies apparently, because I don't remember the main guy from Final Destination 2. But yeah, this is when they're in the drive-through. This guy's in front of them, but then a truck tries to hit their car to kill them, but then they end up moving out of the way, and in the back of his skull, he gets impaled by by a fan. And this kill looks a little bit goofy looking. The practical effects aren't really the best either. But yeah, this one, it's not memorable or anything, so I'm gonna stick this one in a fate worse than death. Next up on our list, so I think after Frankie, it would have been Lewis gets pumped. So now this is when Wendy and that other guy are trying to warn Lewis about death. But then, and this is when he's working out at the gym, but then he slams a piece of equipment down, and then there's like these two dumbbells or something that come falling down together, and then they crush his head, and it goes splat, as a matter of fact. So yes, this character is a jerk off. So, and that's another thing in this movie. It's and this is a satisfying thing in all horror movies. It's not just the Final Destination movies. Like, it's always satisfying to see the jerk character get caught by death. And this kill is memorable for me, so I'm gonna stick this one up in Death's opus, as a matter of fact. So yeah, this kill is pretty memorable, as a matter of fact. Just because he's a jerk off, and he's just one of those characters where you're just sitting on the edge of your seat waiting for him to get killed. So after Lewis, it would have been Aaron. So now this is when Aaron and that other guy, I think what is his name? His name is Ian, and I think they were dating in some way, shape, or form. But then so this is when they're working at like a hardware store like Lowe's, and then like all of these, and then Wendy and the main guy come to tell them that Death is coming for them, and then Death turns on the forklift, and it pushes like all the equipment and in front of everything, but then it pushes Aaron against the wall, and then she gets impaled by a nail gun, as a matter of fact. She didn't really deserve that harsh of a death. In my personal opinion, he didn't really deserve that harsh that harsh of a death. And to be honest, because of that, this one's gonna go in Don't Fear the Reaper, because again, I don't think she deserved that death. I mean, I get it, that's the whole point of the movie. She was on the roller coaster, she didn't die on the roller coaster, and now death is coming after her. But yeah, in my opinion, she was a good character, and she didn't really deserve like that hardcore of a death. But I'm gonna be nice to the Final Destination fans, because and not put it at the bottom tier. I'm gonna put it in Don't Fear the Reaper. Next up on our list, we have Perry, I think is what this character's name is. So this is when Wendy realizes that her sister is next. But then her life gets saved by her sister, I think. And then she asks her, "Who is sitting right next to you on the roller coaster? I need to know." And we don't know until this character gets impaled by a flagpole. And I'm all like, well, we know who was sitting next to her on the roller coaster. This girl that just got punctured by a flagpole, as a matter of fact. So yeah, this is another kill. This is another kill that's not like the most memorable. Like, this is a character we actually know nothing about. Like, we just know she's a friend of Wendy's sister, and yeah, we don't know much about her, but yeah, it's still a pretty cool scene though. So I'm going to stick this one in. Another one bites the dust, because it is a throwaway kill, and it's not like the most memorable, but it's not bad or anything, though. But rounding out Final Destination 3, we have Ian's. So we have Ian's death. So this happened to be, so this is Aaron's boyfriend, and he gets upset that Aaron dies, but then they realize, but then after the flagpole, but after the fireworks go off, he gets he gets crushed by this tower thingy-majig. It's like a thing that a construction worker uses, and then it falls on top of him, and I think he splits into like 2 or 3 parts, and then he's left like holding his middle finger up, as a matter of fact, because he's just upset that Aaron died, as a matter of fact. So yeah, the the effect on this kill is silly, but he's another jerk off character. But then after Aaron dies, he becomes like this jerk off character that you're just waiting to die, as a matter of fact. So yeah, I'm gonna stick this one in Fade to Black, as a matter of fact, because it's memorable, but the effect on it is a little cheeky. All right, now we're moving on to Final Destination 4, or The Final Destination, or as also known as Final Destination 3. This is not the fan favorite of the franchise, but I think all these movies are good in some way, shape, or form. So I like this movie more than most people, actually. So next up on our list, we have I don't remember this guy's name. I think his name is like Carter or something. But this is the racist guy from Final Destination 4. Like the security guard, the main security guard that's working with like all the teens and whatnot. He's like a security guard at at the racetrack, but then this guy but this is the guy that loses his wife, and he gets mad at him for not going back in to save his wife. And the thing is, if he would have went back in there, he would have if he went back in there, he would have died, and that's why he was telling him to stay out, as a matter of fact. But after that occurs, he uses the N-word towards this guy because he's black, and that's what makes him racist, as a matter of fact. But then here's what he tries to do next. He pours gasoline and tries to burn down the guy's house, so he tries to do something illegal. But then, thank the Lord, Death is right there to ask him, and he's like driving a tow truck for whatever reason, and the "Why Can't We Be Friends" song is playing, and he and then his tow cable lights on fire, and then it tows him behind. He lights on fire, and then his truck lights on fire, but then his truck blows out, and then his head lands in the guy's yard that he's trying to burn down. So yes, he is the first guy to go, and I'm actually happy that he was the very first guy to go, because this guy was an absolute asshole in the entire movie. So yes, this death is straight up going into Death's magnum opus. I think I'm gonna put it at the top here, as a matter of fact. So yes, this is a really cool death scene, in my personal opinion, because it's cheesy and goofy, but also it's satisfying because he's racist, and he's just a jerk off. So after him, I think it would have been passed on to Samantha. So Samantha is the mom with the two boys, and and these boys are like not very nice, I think. So they're like jerks, and they try to mess around with stuff at the salon, and then she gives them money to go play like video games and stuff like that. But then she's getting her hair done, and there's like suspense that goes around. Um, there's like suspense going around in the salon, and they make you think that she's gonna die in the salon, but she's not gonna die in the salon at all. She her kids come back, and then she leaves, and then she says, "I got my eye on you." But then somebody's mowing the lawn across the street, but then the lawnmower catches a rock, and then it flings towards her and goes straight through her eye, as a matter of fact, which is a pretty cool scene. So I'm gonna stick this one up in in yeah, I think I'm gonna stick this one. I'm gonna stick this one at the top of Another One Bites the Dust, because I think it's a good kill, and it's a good time filler as well. So next up on our list, we would have had Andy on the fence. So this is the oil change guy that's from the racetrack. But then what happens to him is that they try to come and talk to him, saying that your life is in danger, and we gotta save you. But then what happens was a car gets pulled down. It sets off like some kind of like gas tank, and it sends him flying, and it goes flying, and it flies into him, and then he gets pushed into the fence. But then from his back there's like four little chunks of him that cut out like a cheese grater, and it's not the best practical effect, but it is a dope kill in my opinion. So yes, I'm gonna stick this one up in Another One Bites the Dust. I think is where I'm gonna stick this one, as a matter of fact. So after him, it would have been Hunt. So now this is another suspenseful scene. So this is when Janet and Hunt were next on Death's list, and then Janet is stuck in the car wash, and she, probably going to die. But then Lori comes in and saves her. But then Hun is not so lucky. He gets stuck at the bottom of the pool, and then he gets all the punctures shut through it, like his butthole, and then it gives too much pressure, and then it sucks him, and then he goes up through the pool drain, and then you see all like the blood and gore from like his insides and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a very cheeky kill, as a matter of fact, and arguably I would say that this is probably the most memorable kill of Final Destination 4, as a matter of fact. So I'm gonna stick this one up in Fade to Black. Here, it's gonna go at the top of Fade to Black. So next up here, I believe this guy's name is Jonathan. So this is the cowboy guy that is next on Death's list. After they think saving Janet broke the chain, our main guy, I can't remember his name right offhand. Our main guy thinks saving Janet broke the chain, but then he finds out, oh no, death is still coming. I had another premonition on who's gonna die next. And the security guard guy, the reason why he couldn't kill himself was because he wasn't next on Death's list. At he wasn't next on Death's list at all. This was the guy that was before him, but then he tries to escape from whatever's going on, but then a tub falls from the story above him and crushes him. And this one I'm gonna stick this one in A Fate Worse Than Death, because yeah, this is not a memorable character at all. He only shows up in like he shows up at like the very beginning, and he shows up at the end when he dies. And so in my opinion, yeah, this is not a very memorable death, as a matter of fact. Next up on our list, we have George. That is the name of the security guard's name, because it says right on that little image that I have here. And this is this so now this scene I'm gonna stick in Don't Fear the Reaper, because this is another scene that's not this is one that's not very memorable, but it takes out probably the best character in this entire franchise. And I only say he's the best character in the entire franchise is because all he's trying to do is like help people. And the guy that got towed, he all he was trying to do was help them, and then what does he get? He gets a bus. I feel like he should have survived, as a matter of fact. So yes, that one's going in. Don't Fear the Reaper. The only reason why I didn't put it in the bottom tier was because he was because he's a memorable character in the movie. And the last one in Final Destination 4, we have Death Always Wins. So this is when it kills our main character and Laurie and Janet. And this is when they're at the coffee shop, and he says, "What if this was Death's plan all along?" And then the truck drives through the coffee shop, and it kills all three of them. And a lot of people say this is like one of the worst kills in the entire franchise. And I'm all like, no, it's not. And I tell people this because none of them took a life, and not one of them got resuscitated. And that is how you escape death, is by taking a life or getting resuscitated by somebody. And they think they cheated death when they haven't done either one of those things. So basically, since they didn't do one of those things, they thought they cheated death again, and they thought they escaped from death, but they didn't. So yes, the way to end this movie made sense to me, and I don't know why it doesn't make sense to anybody, as a matter of fact. But yeah, so I'm gonna stick this one up in another one bites the dust, because I think it's memorable in some way, shape, or form, but it's not like one of the most memorable, as a matter of fact. Okay, so now we are moving on to Final Destination 5. And so the very first kill on this would be Candace. So she's the gymnastics one, and she's the first kill to happen in the movie, because again, she's the first to die in the premonition. And I thought the same way with Aaron's death. She didn't really deserve to die, as a matter of fact. And with this kill, I do like the practical effects on it, so I'll give it a little bit of credit for that. But she didn't really deserve like a hard death like this. Like, she's on like the gymnastics scene, as she's like in the gymnastics area as well, and then she takes a tumble, and then like her whole body like cracks. So yeah, she did not deserve this death at all, as a matter of fact. So I'm gonna put this one in Don't Fear the Reaper, as a matter of fact. And I'm actually gonna stick Aaron's death below George's, as a matter of fact. So I'm trying to remember. Oh yes, this is the best kill. This is probably the second best kill in Final Destination 5, because we have Isaac's death. And in case you guys don't remember this death at all, this is when he goes to like this is when he goes to like a massage area, and then he gets acupuncture done, as a matter of fact. So yes, he's like being scummy to like all the women in like the massage salon, and then as he's getting acupuncture, and then after his massager leaves, the room and then the room starts to light on fire, as a matter of fact, and he tries to escape, but then he falls on the floor, and then the needles get pushed into him even further. But then there's a shelf that cracks, and then the Buddha statue that he was making fun of crashes down and crushes his skull, as a matter of fact. So yeah, he would. I was happy that he was like one of the very first people to die, because he was just an absolute scum. So with this one here, I'm gonna put this one up in Death's Magnum Opus. I can't quite put it above the guy that got split into 3 in Final Destination 2, but I can put it above Timmy's, as a matter of fact. All right, so I think the next one that would have been on this list, it would have been Olivia's eye surgery. So now I know there's fans of this kill. I know there's fans of this death. But in my personal opinion, I do not like this death at all. I mean, she, after Isaac, she was the next one to die in the premonition, because she's next on Death's list. But then I'm all like, this death would have never happened if the doctor hadn't left the room. Like he left the room, he left the machine on, and then Death turned it on even further, so Death didn't have to turn on the machine, and then he automatically kills Olivia. So in my personal opinion, it would have so in my personal opinion, this something else would have happened to Olivia if the doctor hadn't left the room, as a matter of fact. So yeah, this one is going in a fate worse than death, and that was because the doctor didn't and that's because the doctor wasn't very smart about it at all. So I think the next one would have been Roy gets impaled through the hook. So the black guy in the movie, I'm not trying to be racist or anything, but I don't remember that guy's name. So that's just the best that I can describe him. So just know I'm not being racist. But yeah, so the black guy is like the boss of this construction area, but then Roy gets confronted by the black guy, and Death is trying to make a move on the black guy, and then Death tries to get him with the hook, but then he moves out of the way, but then Roy ends up falling down. No, wait a minute. The death is under the. Excuse me. The hook is under where the black guy and Roy are. But then what happened was the floor breaks and Death tries to kill the black guy, but then he ends up getting Roy instead, and he immediately gets hooked on the hook, as a matter of fact. So yes, this is another really memorable death as well. So because this is like another jerk off as a matter of fact. So yeah, I'm gonna stick him up into I'm gonna stick this one up in fade to black. I'm gonna put this one above Evan, as a matter of fact. Next up on our list, we have Dennis gets impaled by a wrench, and yeah, I'm gonna stick this one up at the bottom as well, because this is a death that like wasn't very memorable. Like after Roy dies, they try to figure out like who's next on Death's list, but then here's what happens next. A wrench goes flying, and then it just gets Dennis right through the head, and then he dies. Like to me, it's just a throwaway kill that's not memorable at all, as a matter of fact. Next up on our list, this is Jim takes a shot. So this is the police officer that's the main police officer in Final Destination 5. So, and then he gets shot by Peter because Peter's mad, as a matter of fact. So he gets shot by Peter, and then Peter gets his life because he killed him, as a matter of fact. So yeah, this is another one I'm gonna stick into Don't Fear the Reaper, because it's a memorable kill, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Final Destination 5 is the very first Final Destination movie where we learn if you take a life, you get the time that person had left. So yeah. So for that, what saves this movie from being what saves this scene from being at the bottom is that it what saves this from being at the bottom is the fact that this is the very first kill to find out that if you take a life, that saves you from death, as a matter of fact. So now this next death up here, this is the second to last kill in Final Destination 5, and this is when Peter gets stabbed by a roaster utensil, as a matter of fact. So yeah, with him, I'm gonna stick him up in fade to black, because with Peter, the only reason why he goes the only reason why he gets impaled is because he's trying to kill Molly to make her main character. I don't remember his name right offhand. I'm terrible with remembering the name characters. I remember most of the side characters, but I can't remember any of the main characters. But yeah, he gets stabbed because he's trying to kill Molly, because he's sad that Candace died, and he's just trying to get his revenge because he thinks that it was their fault. But then luckily he ends up getting stabbed, as a matter of fact. But rounding out Final Destination 5, as a matter of fact, this is one of the best kills in this entire franchise, and this is straight up going into Death's magnum opus. Okay, I'm gonna stick this one. I'm actually gonna stick Billy up above the racist guy that gets towed, as a matter of fact. But yeah, I'm gonna stick this one up in Death's magnum opus because so this is when this is when the big twist happens, guys. This is this so yeah, the big twist is at the very end of this movie, Final Destination 5 is revealed to be a prequel to the first movie, and this whole scene is what sets the first movie into motion because it's revealed that a bridge accident happens, and then these three characters think they escaped to death, but then no, it was what was truly revealed was the plane accident happened, and it happened because Alex had a premonition. But not only that, it was also revealed that the plane crash happened because they thought they cheated death, but they didn't. So this is when the main character gets gets burnt as the plane goes down, and then his girlfriend Molly gets sucked into like the plane engines, and then the flight, and then the flight debris comes falling down on a bar, and then it crushes the black guy. And so yeah, so all three of these characters die, just just like just like in Final Destination 4. So yeah, this was a pretty good scene in my opinion, as a matter of fact. And the only reason why it's that high is because it's memorable, and it's a big twist that happens, because when this movie came out, nobody expected this movie to be a prequel to the first Final Destination. Okay, so now we are at the final stretch here of Final Destination Bloodlines, as a matter of fact. So after the premonition, the first person to die is Death Finishes Iris. So yes, this one's not quite Death's magnum opus, but I'm gonna stick it in Fade to Black. And in my personal opinion, Final Destination Bloodlines is the best Final Destination movie in the entire franchise. So yes, and that's why this one goes in Fade to Black, is because it kicks off the entire franchise. But the problem is the effects on this kill look a little goofy, so it's not quite like the most memorable. So it's not quite like the best looking practical effects as well, as a matter of fact. All right, next up on our list we have Howard Gets Munched, as a matter of fact. So this is when the dad of Iris, not Iris, excuse me, Eric, Julia, and Bobby. So this is when he gets chopped by the lawnmower, and he dies, as a matter of fact. So yes, the practical effects on this scene is looks really good as well. This is another great scene, as a matter of fact. So yeah, this is a very well done kill, and I'm gonna stick this one up. I'm gonna stick it right here in Death's magnum opus, because it's a really cool kill. As It's a really cool kill, but it's not. It's a really cool kill, and the practical effects are really cool. I don't know why I said, but it's not. I'm just stuttering right now, guys, because I've been recording for a long time, and I need some water, as a matter of fact. So yeah, let me try to get this video wrapped up here. All right, so next up we have Julia's death. So now the practical effects on this one also look a little goofy, but it's still a pretty memorable kill. So still a pretty memorable death. So I'm gonna stick this one up in Another One Bites the Dust. And the reason why this kill is a little bit memorable is because I like how Stephanie and Charlie are like following Charlie like back home, and they tell him to stay away from that. The ball might hit you and knock you into the trash can, or the leaf blower might get you and fling something sharp into their head. But then once they get to his house, he's like doing sexual stuff with like the garbage truck, and he's saying the garbage truck is doing something. What is gonna happen to Eric? And then nothing happens to him. But then in the background, Julia ends up going for a run, and then everything that they speculated that might happen to Eric ends up happening to Julia. And she gets knocked into the trash can, and she tries to get pulled up, but then she gets crushed by the garbage thingy-majig in the garbage truck. And so yeah, I like how drawn out this scene is, and how they're making us think that Eric's next, but no, it's really Julia that's next. So yeah, the practical effects hold this death a little bit back, but it's still pretty good though, as a matter of fact. Ooh, next up we come to Eric's and Bobby's MRI kill, as a matter of fact. And this is the best kill in the entire franchise, and it is straight up going into Death's magnum opus. So now with these two brothers, I really like this kill. Like, I actually, when saw this movie on opening day with my nana, we went to my local Regal to see it, and we weren't expecting this scene to be very bloody as well, because how this entire kill starts, like, Bobby has allergic reaction to peanuts after Eric finds out that truly breaking the cycle is to get him resuscitated, is to it, and then he takes Bobby to a vending machine to buy some peanut butter cups because he has a deadly reaction to peanuts. So after they buy the peanut butter cups, they go into an MRI room, and Bobby sits in a wheelchair. He eats the peanut butter cups. Eric has his pen because it keeps him alive, but then he ends up can't breathing, and then he tells Bobby to get back in the wheelchair. But then Eric sees that the the MRI machine is turned up to like a great level, and then it takes out all of his piercings, which is extremely painful. But then since Bobby's not in the wheelchair anymore, the wheelchair sends Eric. The wheelchair sends flying into the MRI machine, and it pushes Eric deeper into it. But then, like, all the different pulls of the wheelchair puncture through his stomach, and then it breaks his back backwards, and it's just so cool. And the practical effects in that scene are just very well done as well. But then Eric dies, and then Bobby gets his pen so he can breathe again. But then the nurse comes in, and asks him if he okay, and he says yes. But then the spring that they got the peanut butter cups for was broken. So because the MRI machine was still on, the powerful magnet pulls the spring and shoots Bobby right through the head, and then the spring is like squirming through like his head like an actual vending machine does. And this scene is pretty memorable, and it's a very well shot scene, and it's done with very well practical effects as well. And what makes this kill so memorable for me is that when I saw the theater in this with my nana, we weren't expecting this scene to be to be bloody as it is, though. So yes, this is a pretty good scene in my opinion. It's very well drawn out, and it's really well done as well. So next up on our list we have Darlene, as a matter of fact. So this is after she gets so yeah, I'm gonna stick this one in don't fear. Whoops. Why is it not working? I'm gonna stick this one up in Don't Fear the Reaper. There it goes. Because I feel like you would want to see the mom, Darlene, develop the relationship with Stephanie and Charlie, our main characters in the first one. But then after the cabin explodes, she gets hit by a telephone pole, and she's all like, well, there goes that character. She could have done way more in this franchise. So it's memorable because she's a notable she's a notable character in this movie, but she shouldn't have taken that bullet, as a matter of fact. So yeah, this death didn't really do much for me. So it's straight up just going in Don't Fear the Reaper, as a matter of fact. But last but not least, we have the return of the logs, as a matter of fact. And I'm going to stick this one up in Another One Bites the Dust. So this is the final death scene in Final Destination Bloodlines. And this is when Stephanie and Charlie get crushed by the giant logs because they find out that Stephanie didn't get resuscitated. Because her heart didn't stop beating when her brother saved her, as a matter of fact. So yeah, this was pretty memorable, as a matter of fact. And if we do get Final Destination 7, I actually wonder if this scene is going to carry into Final Destination 7, because there is actually some theories on how this scene can carry in to Final Destination 7. Like the movie could start off with like Stephanie having the premonition, and then she has to like get everybody out of there, or somebody else can have the premonition of like the train and the logs crumbling down. And then we would move on to those characters. But then Stephanie and Charlie wouldn't escape. They would already be dead. And then the character that has the premonition, and then the characters that survive that, we would focus on them now, as a matter of fact. So yeah, this was a pretty cool scene, I thought. So yeah, it's pretty cool, and the only reason why I put it in Another One Bites the Dust is because it's not like super memorable, but I think what will make it more memorable is if this scene carries into Final Destination 7, as a matter of fact. Phew! Alright guys, this was a very long video. Excuse me guys, I farted. I tooted, as a matter of fact. So yeah, guys, that is it. That is it for this episode. As a matter of fact, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was a very long video, but it was worth getting through, as a matter of fact, guys. But so yeah, guys, that pretty much does it for this video, as a matter of fact. Be sure you guys click like on this video, hit that red subscribe button, but most importantly, make sure you press that notification bell so you don't miss anything in the future. But without any further ado, guys, I'm going to go get bringing back to more videos, because more videos are on the way sooner rather than later, as a matter of fact, guys. But with that said, though, guys, take care, drink water, and stay safe, and I will see you all in the very next video. Bye.